Stakeholder and power mapping. When you're working on a bigger advocacy campaign, it's not enough to know what you want to achieve. You also need to understand who is involved. That's where stakeholder and power mapping come in. So, who actually makes the decisions that affect your issue? Who has the power to say yes or no? Who can influence those decision makers? And who will be directly impacted by what you're trying to change? Stakeholders are the people and groups connected to your issue. It helps to break them down into 3 main categories: primary stakeholders, secondary stakeholders, and tertiary stakeholders. Primary stakeholders. These are the people directly affected by the issue you want to solve. For example, if you're working on refugee housing or mental health care, the primary stakeholders are refugees themselves and their families. Secondary stakeholders. These are people or organizations who help shape the outcome, even if they aren't directly affected. For example, local NGOs, community groups, schools, city councils, or government agencies. They might provide funding, services, or policy support. Tertiary stakeholders. This group includes the wider public and the media. They help shape opinions, attitudes, and the general climate around your cause. Positive stories and supportive public voices can add pressure on decision makers to act. Once you know who your stakeholders are, the next step is power mapping. This means placing these people or groups on a grid, or even just a simple list, to figure out 2 things. How supportive are they of your cause right now? Are they already allies, neutral, or maybe skeptical? How much influence or power do they have to make decisions or sway others? For example, a local refugee organization may strongly support your idea, but have limited political power. Meanwhile, a city councillor may have decision-making power, but might need more information to become a supporter. Mapping this out helps you decide where to put your energy. Who do you need to persuade with information, stories, or facts? Who can you mobilize as active partners, volunteers, or campaign spokespeople? Who might resist your plan, and how can you prepare to answer their concerns or reduce their opposition? This isn't about creating conflict. It's about being prepared and strategic, so you spend your time and energy wisely. For example, imagine your goal is to secure city funding for trauma-informed mental health services for refugee youth. Your primary stakeholders are the youth and their families. Secondary stakeholders could be local health NGOs and school counsellors. Tertiary stakeholders might be local newspapers or social media communities that can help share your message and build public support. On your power map, the city council or mayor's office would likely be high power, but maybe not yet fully supportive. So your plan would include educating them, sharing stories, or inviting them to community events to see the need firsthand. From mapping to action. When you understand who matters most, who holds power, and who can stand with you, your campaign becomes clearer and stronger. Strategic advocacy is about connecting your passion with a plan. By defining the problem clearly, setting SMART goals, and mapping out your stakeholders and power, you build a roadmap for real impact. Remember, meaningful change rarely happens alone. It takes thoughtful strategy, teamwork, and persistence. When you use these tools well, you help protect refugee rights, influence policies, and grow community support that lasts. Every meeting, every conversation, every ally you bring in brings your vision one step closer to reality.